you went through this, you went through your loss of Travis, and did you get closer with Brendan after that, or did it maintain, or?
We got a lot closer with Brendan. I mean, absolutely. Brendan was in SEAL training when we lost Travis, and I still remember that call with my wife. But yeah, he would come and visit us, and still remember when he came back, and he came right up to our place, and mostly people felt uncomfortable coming to visit the parents by themselves, so they'd come in groups. But when Brendan called up shortly after he got back, and I said, okay, who are you coming up with, Brendan? He says, I'm coming by myself. And we spent the night doing shots of Patron at our bar and talking about stories of he and Travis and their friendship. And
well, it was another thing was Travis or Brendan had just started Buds.
Yeah.
And, he was saying, hey, I'm going to come home for the funeral. And you and your wife said, no, you do what you got to do. You got to get through this training. You can come later.
Yeah.
Which is...
Well, we knew he was just sort of struggling with the loss in a big, big way, and he wanted to be there, and, he was sharing that with my wife real strong. And, he knew what Travis would want him to do is to carry on, and so he did that, and he sure did that in a big way out there in San Diego.
Yeah, and Brendan crushed Buds, and you don't throw that around lightly. You don't throw around someone crushing Buds lightly. And one of the quotes that they pull out in here that he applied during Buds was one of Brendan's favorite quotes was one he rarely spoke out loud, but always kept in the back of his mind. Be strong, be accountable, never complain.
Yeah, that's Brendan. Absolutely.
And that attitude going in, he ended up being the honor man of his Buds class. And so the honor man is the guy that's basically the best performer in everything. And again, you're going to Buds, you got some competitive, high-level athletes in there. And to be the honor man, you got to be a bit of a badass.
Yeah. Well, some of the guys who were there with him share with me that it wasn't even close. Even, he was blowing everything away. So he was possessed, as they share with me.
That sounds like he was definitely getting after it. And I won't even say I imagine. I actually know for a fact that losing Travis must have fueled his fire beyond anyone could. He probably had. You're right. There was no who's going to compete with that.
Right.
He knew he had a job to do, and
so much so that when he got done and graduated, and my wife Janet and I were at the wedding with Amy and Brendan,
mm-hmm.
that he called Janet over and gave Janet his Navy SEAL Trident. And, he just did it privately. It was the way Brendan was. Gave it to her and said, I couldn't have gotten this without Travis being there with me every step of the way. And I want you to have this. And I was at the other end of the room, and I still remember Janet coming up with tears in her eyes and sharing that story with me. It was just sort of the type of guy Brendan was,
Yeah, it's just, that was another thing that in the book you talk about is he got the honor man plaque and he mailed it to his parents.
Yeah.
And his attitude was, hey, this isn't on me, this is on you. Thanks for support over the years.
Yeah.
And then giving the trident to your wife, Janet. Just a humble guy.
Yeah.
That always gave credit to everyone else. And your wife gave him the black bracelet that said First Lieutenant Travis Manion, USMC, Spartan Hero Leader. Killed in Iraqi freedom, 29 April of 2007.